Yo, you listen to More About Something Else? Thank you for listening. And on today's episode, we talk about how complex love can be, what love is, and how we can change our energy. But here's a clip from the show. Throughout whenever we hang out or throughout whatever, stay away from me. There are people that will want to be negative about every situation. Stay away from me. I want to prosper, right? And then upon self-reflection, you really have to look at yourself and be like, is the energy that I'm putting out, is it enough? Is it helping me or is it hindering me? Which one is it doing? And now that you heard that, let's begin.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show, maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud, and for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying, so open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
If people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peaks like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download the shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait.
Yo, you listen to More About Something Else? My name is Joshua. And I just want to say thank you to any and everybody that's been rocking with the show. Wholeheartedly, I truly appreciate that. But we are here in the month of November. We're cooling, we're coasting, we're chilling. We got one more month left. Hey, the year's over. The year been over. But think about it. We're in this month of November and then December comes. It's never too late to start fresh or to make changes in your life. You really just gotta want it as much as possible. But anyways, if you like the show, please like it, share it, review it. You can do one or you can do all three. Either way, I appreciate it. But let me start with this. Life is hard. Life is so hard. And sometimes when life is hard for certain individuals, they cut off everybody. Or they start acting funny, or you never know. I want you to think about something that happened in your life where it was just like, I don't know what to do, right? You're not the only person that goes through things. To try and minimize somebody else's problems because you feel like your problems are bigger, you need to check yourself. Throughout this year, just been looking from a worldly view of what's been going on. And your problems will come. That's the thing. Like, problems will come no matter what, wherever you live, whatever. But how you overcome that is, it's a lot much more pleasing. We're always talking about respecting the process, and you're not really respecting the process because all you do is complain about how rough life is. We get it. We know. It's not going to do you any better if you continue to complain. It's not going to do you any better if you don't do anything about it. There, I said it. What are you going to do that's going to make you better tomorrow? See what I'm saying? Like, I always talk about control. I like to be in control of everything. But to what point is it that you're going to actually control your life? The only thing that you really can control is how other people feel about you. That's it. Amongst other things, but I can't really name that right now. But understand this. If you can control it, and let's just say, for example, finances, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck, right? Your account always goes in negatives at some point. If it happens more than once, it's not a coincidence. It's a problem. So how are you going to fix this problem? You see what I'm saying? Like, I understand finance, and I feel like finance is like the best example, because we all have money problems at some point in our lives. And money is what makes the world go around. I mean, I would hate to say that, but money talks. So what are you going to do? You can either figure it out, get a better job, find a side hustle, be an entrepreneur, whatever. Like, what are you going to do? As to just complaining about it and hoping for something, but not actually working towards that. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, things that bother me this week. There's been this picture online, and actually it's not even a picture. It's actually talking about what you would rather have, right? And a lot of it is to say that people think that they know what they're talking about. But when you start to understand different factors of how society works and how the economy works, you can call bullshit on anything, right? So the question is, would you rather have an 850 credit score or $1 million? Now, a lot of people might say credit score. Actually, most people will say credit score, right? You know what happens with an 850 credit score? You can do a lot. You can do a lot, right? But that's the thing. It's like, I don't feel like that's the answer. And I said, I don't feel like that's the answer. You may choose the answer, but I feel like, and I'm leaning heavily towards that side, because why do you need the credit score? The credit score is nothing. Apparently, it's just a number. Yeah, it may allow you to do certain things, like buy a home or get a vehicle or whatever, but I'm going to take the $1 million. See, this is the thing, right? A lot of people are saying, I have 850 credit score. I can just get $1 million and flip that. You don't even know what you're talking about, You don't. And this is my thing, right? I get it. Credit score, if it's not good, understand that. But it's something about ownership, owning whole ownership of something, that makes a lot more sense. Like, why would you get a loan when you can just have the money right there? Like, I get it, investments and whatever, but you can literally take that money and flip it instead of going to take a loan and flip it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But there's that. People are actually voting in the state of Texas for Ted Cruz. Now, this is my thing. Vote for who you want to vote for. But don't vote for people that you know have done nothing for you. Deciding which one you want to do, as far as like voting Democrat, voting Libertarian, Republican. Don't pick because of the party, pick because of what the person can do for you. This is my thing. What policies, or what does Ted Cruz even believe in? And if you can't answer that, I don't know. I've been asking people, and I'm asking, hey, you gonna vote? A lot of people say no, because my vote don't count. I don't know, guys. This is a thing, right? This is the most important one, right? We don't really care about popularity vote of who's going to win, as far as like presidency wise. But we're here, and it's like you actually witness people saying that your vote doesn't count, right? Another thing about just voting, just in general, we're pressing millennials to go and vote. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Most of these people are dumb. They really are. And don't take offense to it if you're not dumb or whatever, but let us not forget that people voted for Harambe, a gorilla. And I can't hold that to certain people. Apparently voting is a real responsibility, and people neglect that. Despite that, we have shady politics that we see going on, especially in like Georgia and Florida, where there's voter suppression. Like, they're really trying to take away a vote from somebody because A, they haven't used it, B, if their name doesn't match their birth certificate or whatever, like silly things. If you haven't voted before, votes that are sent from different states to go into that one state. Like, let's say I was born in Georgia. I voted in Georgia. I reside in Georgia. I'm out of town. I'm staying there for a while and I send my vote in. They're not counting those, right? So think about that too. It's very important to go vote. A lot of people are saying it because it's so important. And if you don't know why, do your research. You have one more day. This thing comes out on November 5th. Election day is November 6th. So literally, it's up to you. Say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, 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 write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people, and I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show. So, I've been thinking for a while about this, and I've just been trying to put things into a sentence so that when somebody asks me about it, I can recite it. But you see, I feel like there's no real answer. What does the word love to me? What does the word love mean to you? There's times where I felt like I loved someone, but it was more of like I really like you. Like, love comes in all different forms. You just have to be aware to figure it out. There's a lot of people that never really loved until they met somebody else. And even upon meeting somebody else, how love is pretty much one dimension. And when different things are put in your life, the greater the dimension it goes, where it's like, okay, I understand this. You love yourself, and then you meet somebody and you love them. Scratch that. You love your family, all right? You love them. You will do anything for them. So there's that. And then you meet somebody, and love turns into loving the people that you've been with for the rest of your life, or for the people that you've been with your whole life. And then there's love about loving somebody for the rest of your life. It's a brand new person in your life. You love this person so much that you decide to have a kid. And then sooner or later you have 1, 2, 3. And you soon learn that I love so much more. And I can't really define that. And then on top of that, we have people that have been instrumental to our lives. We have our enemies, because they say we're supposed to love our enemies, right? And there's this whole tree that expounds that seems to be very limit. There's this whole tree that keeps growing and growing and growing. You would think by now we would learn what love means, but we don't. Because a lot of people perceive love as exchanging something. If I give you this, you're going to love me. But what happens when I stop giving you this? You know? Love can mean a whole lot of things, But how do you know when you love for real? Let's say you're dating somebody, right? And things are going really well. One thing leads to another, and you say, I love you. And they say it back. What's going to happen to you when that person stops loving you? Are you going to love them back? A lot of people, ultimately, they do, because people have hearts. But you have to realize that unconditional means unconditionally loved. Like, your kids, hopefully, you will love them unconditionally. But you're not really getting any love right now, so what does that mean to you? And does that alter what love means to you? I want you to really think about that, because at what point can you decipher between actually loving somebody or a deep infatuation of them? You literally have to break it down. And that's my thing, you know? Trying to understand what love means. I have a great support system. It's like things are getting better. And when you find yourself in love, or wanting to be in love, how do you come across just that? Is it that you have to love yourself before you love somebody else? You're always going to meet nice people. You're always going to meet people that are going to make you happy. Essentially, you're going to love somebody. You are. You're going to love what they do and why they do it. You love everything about that person. And this is my thing, like, love never fails, but I know we've all seen these relationships that go bad, and it's like they fall out of love. And this is my thing, like, love really doesn't fail you. It really doesn't. Even if you have to go separate ways with people, you're supposed to still love them, right? I get into fights with my brother all the time. Well, back in the day, of course. Doesn't mean I don't love him. That's one aspect of love, you see? And this is how complex it could be. But love is very dense. We have people struggling in the world. We have everyday struggles that we deal with. And yet people still prefer to show love. Support is rare, but when you do find it, it's gold. On another note, how do you know when you love yourself? Like, I feel like that's more important than anything, because I feel like that's when you truly understand how you can love somebody else. We all talk about self-care and loving ourselves for who we are, but do we really love ourselves for who we are? Do we really feel like we deserve the best? I see a lot of people be very destructive as far as like loving themselves, whether that's honoring their temple or allowing negativity to roam freely. When are you going to figure out that once you start loving yourself, that things will be a lot much smoother? Things will be a lot much easier. There's one thing to accept who you are, maybe you have some type of tendency or whatever it is to do, but you really have to own yourself or own these things that are going on. And like I said earlier, once is a coincidence, twice is a problem. Figure out what love means, because once you figure that out, things will really start to make sense to you. Anyways, I've been thinking about energy. I think it's so important when we think about that in general, that we really try to understand and grasp the concept of what energy means. You're going through a rough time in life, right? And this is my thing. This is what people need to understand, is that in your own personal life, there are variables in your life that are either hindering you or they're uplifting you. And everything has to be aligned. And I've just been on this wave of like trying to promote positive energy, trying to change my energy. And a part of me was stuck because I was always kind of pessimistic about certain things and just trying to look at things from an objective view, but actually realizing that I was being detrimental to what I wanted to go on forth with, or how I wanted to move myself. So I've been trying to change my energy. And now it's like, how do you change that energy? Literally, if you're hanging around people that are always negative, stay away from me. If I'm trying to figure out my life and you're out here blasting nonsense throughout whenever we hang out or throughout whatever, stay away from me. There are people that will want to be negative about every situation. Stay away from me. I want to prosper, right? And then upon self-reflection, you really have to look at yourself and be like, is the energy that I'm putting out, is it enough? Is it helping me or is it hindering me? Which one is it doing? You can't sit here and say that things won't work out, or I don't see myself doing this, or it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but I just don't feel like I can do it. There's no such thing as can. Like, people with that type of attitude, I just don't want to be around. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's one thing about me that I always think about is think bigger. The bigger you think, the higher you will come to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Now, we can look at this on a small scale, or we can look at this on a large scale. It matters. So upon these things, these variables, like, are the people in my life good? Do I love myself? Am I really trying to be the best version of myself? And overall, just the thoughts that flow through your head. Because literally, like, if your timeline says nothing but pessimistic things, then that's contributing to hindering your success. Believe it or not. But it's those type of little things that we have to watch out for. We literally have to watch out for every little thing. Because knowing that negativity is why I can't make it in life, or negativity is why I'm always single, or you name it. Because everything ties down together. If you really think about it, if you really look at the bigger picture, what are you going to do to fix your energy? And that's literally everything that goes on in your head. Because you can choose to accept or deny. And just trying to program your subconscious to speak positivity instead of trying to knock out all these things that are going to go good for you if you allow yourself to change. Like, you can't be negative your whole life. But if you are, just know you won't get nowhere. It's very simple. How are you going to change your energy? Despite all that's going on right now, as far as like in politics and whatever, I feel like it's still our responsibility to be human beings about certain things. We have shootings going on And a part of me always wondered, because the new thing now is that we're blaming mental health. That's the way to go. It's the easy way out. But what is the true reason behind it? And it's almost like we're desensitized by these mass shootings because there's been so many. And I don't know if this was ever a problem back then, but the question always arises to me, like, what's the difference between now and back then? It's sad that I think it was 14 people that actually died, but yet we stopped talking about it. The dude that did it doesn't really care. The bombs that got mailed out and they caught the guy and they said he was a Trump supporter. I don't know. These are just all weird things that are happening. And it's like, why aren't we really alarmed to this? It's scary because this is our reality now. What else is going to happen for us to realize that we're digging ourselves into a grave that we really can't get out of? Besides that, how do you confront your reality? Like I said before, the most successful people are problem solvers. So how do you be very realistic about your approach? I have friends that talk about their goals and whatnot, and I always say go big, but be realistic about how you can do things. When are you going to realize that there's a problem and you have to really be aware of what's going on? It's okay though. Things are a process, and that's why we're here, to figure things out. I've been doing some reading, and there's one thing that is very important as far as like just trying to be successful. And especially when you go into these job interviews, you really know nothing about yourself when they ask you what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Now, of course, you can say I'm a good worker, I do this, I do that. But how do you identify your strengths? It's very easy to say things that you want to believe you are, but let's be truthful. So I wrote down these 4 things about how you can identify, and this is something that I've been implementing in my everyday life. So how do you identify your strengths? Notice what other people are commenting on. If they say that you have nice teeth, that you have a nice smile, that could be a strength, or that you're a great listener. That's a really good strength, right? Identify what feels easy or natural. So that's like, if you're really good at math, I don't know, maybe that's your strength, right? Be self-aware. I think that's the most important. I think I should have actually said that one first, because once you're self-aware, you own everything. It's just a matter of time. And just understand, where does your energy go the most? Hopefully you were paying attention. Write it down, need be. But anyways, what books are you reading? If you don't read books, I think that's where all knowledge really just comes from, right? Like, you can get it from the internet, but nothing's really set in stone until it's in a book. So what book are you reading right now? Whether it's a short book or a long book. The book that I'm reading right now, well, I'm actually reading a few, but one in particular is called Man Searching for Meaning, and it's a very short book. I think it's like 200 pages, and it's about a Holocaust survivor and his search for meaning after enduring so much. And oh my God, it's a really good book. You should really check it out. It's called Man Searching for Meaning, and you can get it on Amazon for like, I think, $8 or $9. But check that book out. As usual, as I wrap this show up, I always like to end the show with words of wisdom. When you see change, learn to evolve. Please, if you like the show, like it, review it, share it. Once again, you can do 1 or you can do all 3. Check out the website, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. There is merch live on the website. But my name is Joshua, and I'm out.